afternoon to one and all present here. I welcome you to the second session of the day in the afternoon. That is, today the session is concentrated on IPS, Mental Health Act Symposium, and the chairperson of the session is Dr. B.S. Chavan, and he's the professor and head of the Department of Psychiatry, Government Medical College, Chandigarh, and Joint Director, Regional Institute for Mentally Handicapped, Chandigarh, and Director, Center of Excellent and Head of the Mental Health Institute. I would like you to welcome to the session, sir.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon to all of you. In fact, I feel that this is the most important symposium of the total program we have for the 4 days. And you'll agree with me, why do I say that? Because the Mental Health Act, this is being amended and now a new act is there. This is happening after 25 years. And I think this is such a crucial stage for all of us that whatever goes in, and whenever there's a stamp of the president and it becomes an act, there's nothing we can do about it, at least for next maybe 30 years, 40 years, because getting an act amended is really very tough task.
At least 25 years.
At least 25 years, yeah. I'm happy that the Indian Psychiatry Society, Indian Association for Social Psychiatry, has been trying their best, has been discussing these issues very closely in groups, and even with the ministry. We have the meetings with the ministry, and there is now a position statement by the IPS, and the best part that IPS as a body has agreed on certain issues, and these are the issues which we have been fighting and we have been requesting that whatever we have in hand, so there are certain issues which we feel that need to be sort of changed. See, this galaxy of the eminent panelists or the speaker, I think they are the one who have a force behind this whole debate, and they are so close to the Mental Health Act and the mental health policy that they know it by word. I think this is an opportunity for all of us that will be listening to them and will know where are we now. Although me personally have been interacting with all of them, and me, Dr. Kala, at times we have shared certain emails, because we at times felt that despite putting so much of efforts, somehow things are not moving. So there was a feeling of annoyance, feeling of sort of being left out. But we still feel that I think let's again continue our struggle and see where we reach. So what I'll do, I'll request Dr. Kala, and Dr. Kala, before he starts his presentation, will give a little the whole background and how these 4 talks are going to be conducted in terms of the various areas which are going to be taken. So I request Dr. Kala, please come.
Chairperson, sir, friends. This symposium, which is about the mental health care bill, still a bill, the current status is that almost any day it is going to go to the cabinet and subsequently to the parliament. The process started about 3 years back when the Health Ministry decided to amend the existing 1987 Mental Health Act. They invited all the stakeholders over a period of time, and inputs were taken. Along the way, they decided that the changes required are so many that it would be stupid to call it an amendment. So they decided to go the whole way and have a brand new act altogether. So now actually the process is closing. And the only opportunity as far as giving inputs or hoping for a change is only at the political level, at the level of the parliamentary committee, if and when it goes to the parliamentary committee. Apart from that, common people have sort of exhausted the opportunities given. No, how we will go about this is that in about 8 to 10 minutes, first of all, I'll tell you some features which are new in this mental health care bill, which some of us, an average psychiatric practitioner, probably might never even have heard of. Now these things are going to affect our practice of each one of us, whether it is government or private or charitable or free or, whichever sector it is. I'll just touch upon the new features. The details will be handled by Dr. Narayan, and then there is a particularly contentious issue of advanced directives, which Dr. Alok Sareen will be talking about. Dr. Chittaranjan Andrade is on his way from another symposium. He will be talking about the overlap of this act with the practice of ECT, how it is being regulated, and whether it is sensible to do it that way or not. And lastly, Sumitra Pathare, none of us listed so far had any role at any point in time in the formulation of the act. But the last speaker list in the program, Dr. Sumitra Pathare, is the one who, with another lawyer, Professor of Law, Dr. Jaya Sagde, at the Indian Law Institute, Pune, the two of them drafted this act. Well, there were, like I told you, consultation and now he, the one who was to be here, who had actually drafted the act, some of you might say conveniently, actually sort of hurt his back yesterday. But we'll have him on Skype, hopefully, if it was. Or it's not working?
People are not in, so we'll have him on the phone.
All right. So with that, I'll first start my presentation. Now here, new means which has never happened in India before. It is maybe good, it may be bad. Now, first new thing is the definition of mental illness. None of the previous laws of India, mental health legislation of India, whether Indian Lunacy Act or Mental Health Act 87, defined mental illness. Now, here it is defined a disorder of mood, thought, perception, orientation and memory, which causes significant distress to a person or impairs a person's behavior, judgment and ability to recognize reality, or impairs a person's ability to meet the demands of daily life, and includes mental conditions associated with the abuse of alcohol and drugs, but does not include mental retardation. So, mental illness is defined for the first time in the Indian law. And also, substance abuse is included specifically. Now, registration is new in the sense that all mental health facilities, including government, private, NGO, charitable, religious places, where persons with mental illness stay other than their homes, including general hospital psychiatric units, will be registered and hence will be subject to the same monitoring regulation as per the Act as any other setting. Now, this also is new. Now, thirdly, what is totally new is that all involuntary admissions in all mental health establishments, when challenged by the patient, will undergo a review by specially constituted review boards at district levels, which will be judicial bodies headed by a judge. Appeals, a retired judge or judge, but a person with powers of judge. Appeals against the board lies with the High Court. Now, what are the pros and cons of that? Are we ready for that? Because a shoddy implementation can create a very, very messy situation. Now, I'll tell you what this actually means in practice. This means in practice that every district will have something like a consumer court with powers of a judicial body. And a patient has to, many of our patients when admitted involuntarily, they say, I don't need permission. And they will be given, legally they will be entitled to access to a telephone. There will be a number written there on the wall, and they can call up that number, and somebody or the other in a few days will find out what is happening about this patient and will come or call the patient or to wherever this is centered. Now, also the problem is that where these judicial bodies will be located, the boards will be located, has been partly left to the state to be in consultation with the state that the locations will be decided. And the states might just decide that the capital city, there are very few nursing homes in that district, so let's just have one in the capital in Chandigarh. And how does a board decide whether a person needs involuntary admission or not without seeing a patient? And taking a patient in that stage to the capital city is again actually violating human rights of the patient rather than supporting. Now, involuntary admission, paperwork and permissions required progressively increase with the duration of involuntary admission. The whole idea seems to discourage longer admissions. Now, advanced directives, Dr. Alok Sareen will be talking in detail, but very briefly, it means that anybody in a lucid state can make advanced directive. Even a person who has never had a mental illness can make an advanced directive. Or in between two episodes of psychosis, when his capacity is maintained, he can write on a plain paper that in the event of a future mental illness, he will not like to be treated in a certain way or may like to be cared for in a particular manner. Advanced directives will be binding on the treating psychiatrist. And the concern is that this will put the patient and the families on a confrontational position vis-a-vis each other, when families are the, families are the ones who bear the burden of the mental illness. And of course, it is possible that advanced directives may be used to the detriment of the patient. Now, this is also something new. Never before a mental health law has mandated that the state will definitely provide services. It will require the government to provide mental health services in all districts and free of cost to the poor patients. Now, again, the key lies in implementation. Now, this is again something new, that there is a section on emergency treatment. In case of emergency where there is danger to patient's health, or the patient is violent or suicidal, any RMP, whether allopathic or homeopathic or Ayurvedic or just a plain registered medical practitioner, can give any appropriate treatment in any setting, at home, in village, dispensary, in a hospital, in a psychiatric nursing home, anywhere, in a general hospital, can give any appropriate treatment in any setting. Now this, I'm sorry, the duration is not included here, it is 72 hours for the first 3 days. Now, this may include, this actually also serves a purpose, this may include transportation to a mental health facility. So far, the law didn't provide any legal umbrella to the transportation. Now, it does through this, because that is part of the emergency treatment. Now, also for the first time, mental health professionals other than psychiatrists may get registered with the state mental health authority, may get, they don't have to. Qualifications laid down for psychiatric nurses, psychiatric social workers and clinical psychologists, they are specifically laid down, MA, MPhil, etc., etc. They are in the act. A registered mental health professional can be the second required signatory in addition to the psychiatrist in case of involuntary admission. Instead of second person being a doctor, it can be a registered clinical psychologist. Now this has caused all sorts of trouble in the IPS. This was one of the concerns of the IPS, which was officially submitted later. Now, also that says that mental health should be treated at par with physical health for all purposes, including for the purpose of insurance. So insurance companies will not be in a position to put mental illness as an exclusion clause. Now, for the first time, certain treatments are banned. Now, this is actually a first, because even in other countries, nowhere specific treatments are banned by a mental health legislation. They can be banned by courts. They can be banned by executive orders of the government, which can change. Now, the problem with this is that when you ban a treatment or promote a treatment, then it gets sort of fixed for years and years, like it was mentioned. And science changes. Science changes, new treatment might come. This might become very safe. There will be some studies. So ECT, that so-called unmodified ECT, will be illegal, and so will be the ECT for minors below 18 years. Now, many people have argued that, sometimes 17 years, 18 years old kids, they have this acute psychosis with catatonic feature, they don't eat, they become excited, and sometimes ECT is life-saving. So they said, okay, you have to give ECT to a minor, you get a permission from the board. Now, this actually defeats the whole purpose. It's an emergency, it's a life-saving situation. One doesn't want to run, with an application to a board who may be in the same city or may not be in the same city. Similarly, psychosurgery only after permission from the board. Now, this is something very good. All patients who attempt suicide will be presumed to be under serious stress, and no criminal proceedings will be initiated against them. This, the Mental Health Act tries to do something which is actually a CRPC thing, but we are assured that this legal and others have agreed to it. Thank you very much.
Next, we have Dr. C.L. Nair.